All right, cool. So I got a couple agents on, more might hop on as we go. We're going to be running some quotes. I've got a decent amount of quotes to actually run. So what I'm going to do through this process, because I'm limited on time and I need to get these quotes out, is I'm going to talk my way through. I'm going to talk to you guys as to what it is I'm doing, and if I get opportunity to why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I'll definitely do that, but I'm going to be doing some Forester's quotes. I'm going to be doing some Anico quotes. I'm going to be doing some North American quotes. I'm going to be using different platforms to do it, some terms, some IULs. Quite frankly, I just have a boatload of quotes that I need to be doing right now. And so I figured I'd take this opportunity to invite as many of you guys in to just learn. And since we record it, if I'm going too fast, you can always kind of go back and watch the videos. But let's get started. So the first one is a Forester's quote. The reason why we're doing a Forester's quote is because of the member benefits that became more attractive to the client than anything. And so it's a single mom with a child. She has full custody of the child. So their dad is not in the mix. And one of the biggest member benefits that the client likes is the orphan provision, right? If she passes away, not only does the beneficiary get the money, but the children get the guardian of her child would essentially receive $900 a month until the child turned 18. Doesn't necessarily have a big interest in the conversion of the IUL, and so Forester's tends to be the best solution for that. So let's do it. What I did is I went into our TKO website. So even if you don't have a writing number, or you do, I'd like to go to Forester's here, because this gives me the ability to run a quote and actually email the illustration and everything. But I'll actually I'll run it through here for everybody to kind of play with. So let's see here. We are looking for $50,000 to $100,000 worth of coverage is what she told me. Healthy female. All right. So the Strong Foundation is a term product, and if you notice, it's a non-medical product. This is a Texas client. Pop in her date of birth. 35, female, no tobacco, no table rating, face amount. I'm gonna give 100,000. Get the quote. That's annual. That's annual. Let me return to see if I can do. Can I get it on monthly? Premium. There's nothing here to put down monthly. Premium amount. Okay, quote. Okay. There you go. So it's $237 for a 30-year plan. It's $32.11 a month, or $367 a year. It's pretty decent price. Would you like to email a copy? I do. I'm going to email it to myself. Email's been sent. And then what I typically do is I have a cloud, and I put a lot of my I have a client folder, and in that client folder, I create a folder with the client's name, and I just start saving all the quotes there that I'm working with for that particular client. Let's see here. Chastity, there we go. I'm going to open up the email so you guys can see what that quote looks like. It's pretty cool. This is what was emailed to me just from running that quote. And if you notice, I didn't go into the carrier website. I just went right into their mobile quick quote system. And so what I don't like about these, I will tell you, is that it shows the 10-year, the 15, the 20-year, the 25, and the 30-year pricing. You know, if I'm trying to sell the 30, the last thing I want to do is show them the 20-year pricing or the 25-year pricing. So that is a little bit of the chance that you take. But that's what that, you know, but this is kind of what the quote looks like. I'm going to actually log in to, let me actually log into the carrier portal as well. For those of you that want to learn, once you get your writing numbers, how to run that quote directly there. Come on. Log in. eBiz. I already got my credentials saved in there. So there's two term policies that Foresters has, right? The strong foundation is their simplified plan. Their your term is their medically underwritten plan. So I'm logged in right now. Go right here to illustrations. This is a very healthy young female. It's very cost effective. So I don't mind doing simplified issue when it's in the 20-30 range. Brackets, you know, if they're super young as well too, so it just makes sense. I'm gonna go right here to the strong foundation. I'm gonna keep it value client so I can protect the client's name. Let's run the quote here again, 062519887.
Tony, this is Makisha. Can you explain the difference between your term and strong foundation? Because I always did your term.
Your term in the independent space is a fully underwritten product. Strong foundation is the simplified product. That's the only difference. So fully underwritten means it could ask for a medical. And then the strong foundation is a non-medical product. Does that make sense? Okay. So there we go. There's a credentials, non-tobacco, death benefit. There's a small 30-year plan, 100K. Let's see what kind of riders we can attach here if possible. Chronic, critical, and terminal is automatic. That's good. Family health benefit kind of, there's no actual additional riders that you can add to it. So that works just fine, just like that. Let's go to reports. Unable to run calculations, please review alert message. What is the alert message? Please enter producer's first name. Where do I put that information here? Restriction. Where do you want me to insert the producer's first name, producer override? Where is that? There we go. Reports. Producer. Let's do that. There we go. That's good, that's good. $32.11. 30-year plan, 100,000. You go to reports when you want to print it. So at a glance, just gives you a quick view. I use standard illustration. Okay. Create and preview the report. This is what it looks like. Nice. See, this one is a better one because, let me see here. Actually, hold on. Let me do one more thing I want to show you guys that I would do. I'm going to take out the quick quote. I'm going to do the standard illustration only. Okay. There we go, 32 bucks a month. Got $100,000 of face value. Foresters always doubles the accidental up to a maximum of, I believe, 250. So she'll get an automatic accidental $200,000 of death benefit as well. She has the chronic, critical, and terminal. And because this is a fraternal company, she also gets the member benefits. So this is the quote that I'm going to send to the client. And then as a way to upsell as well, I'll throw in 200,000 just so that she sees, you know, if she wanted to purchase a, what do you call it? If she wanted to get a bigger plan, she could. So let me move this to another screen so I can save it. I want to save it with the client's name and to protect the client from the recording. I'm going to save it over here instead. Does that make sense? As I'm saving this, does anybody have any questions? When I save files, I use the client's last name, first name, the company, the product, and then what exactly is it? This is an illustration. So I'm using the client's last name, first name, and I'm saying Foresters term 100K illustration. I'm a very systems driven guy. Once I find a system that works, I run with it and I run with it and I run with it. and I'm very robotic that way. I'm also a very action person, so I need it. My whole thing in my business, for those of you that tend to be structured, is you create a deadline for yourself. You want to have your structure, your system in place within this certain deadline, and whether it's done or not, you're going into action right away. So that's always been a big benefit to me, because you could drown in being structured, you could drown in being technical, analysis by paralysis type scenario. And so that's the way that I combat that. All right, cool. So boom, boom, boom. Here's the case. Let's go back to this case. Foundation. So now that I did that one, I'm gonna try to upsell and do a 200,000 as well, just to have it at a glance. How much is it? 58 bucks a month. So it's about doubling. We're not double it. Let's do 150. $45. So she can pick now between $30 and $45. I'll save this one as well too. There's the illustration. Right, same exact illustration. Just double the price. With Foresters will do a simplified product up to 400,000 non-medical. Something as well that you need to learn about the Strong Foundation, which you guys are going to learn more about it. This Closers College, I actually have the representative for Foresters coming in-house, so I encourage you to attend. Is that Foresters plan, this specific plan, write this down, guys, the specific, Strong Foundation. So this quote right here is very good for people with diabetes, as long as their A1C level is under 8.9. It's also very good for cigarette smokers, as long as it's just cigarettes that they do and no other form of tobacco. They can give them a non-smoker rating. And it's also good for marijuana users, as long as it's recreational and not medicinal, and no more than 6 times, I believe, a week. But you'll get the details of that on this up and coming Closers College. But just know, if you deal with clients that are marijuana users, cigarette users, diabetes, and also COPD, this particular product, not the company, but this particular product is very flexible when it comes to those types of situations. Does that make sense? Illustration. Yes, no, maybe. Good stuff, hopefully. All right. A couple of people hopping on. All right, so there's that one. Now let's get to the fun ones here. Okay, so I've got to do, where is it? Got a client right now that has a $600 a month budget. Right now, I've ran quotes and I'm at 370. She just added a bunch of other family members that she wants to get covered as well. So I have a remaining amount of budget of $230 a month. And out of that $230, if you're typing on the chat, I apologize. I don't catch those all the time. I have an IUL for North America and my illustration isn't coming out right. You have an example for a child's IUL illustration. I do. Victoria, I'll be doing that one here momentarily. That's actually on my list of things to do. I've got, let me see here. What do I got going on here? We got grandkids, 1, 2, 3, and children, two young children as well. I got 5 policies that I need to do IULs for. That's for kids. I'm always going to go IULs, and I have $230 a month to play with. 10-year-old, 5-year-old, 2-year-old. Okay, so let me see here. 230 divided by 5 puts me at $46 a month. I can round up to 50 and get all of them policies. So I'm going to do 5 kid policies. Victoria, this will help out a lot. At $50 a month. The oldest child there is 10. I'm okay doing that. Once the kids start turning, 13, 14, 15, I like to go to $75 a month. Once they get to the 18, 19, 20, 21, I like to go to about $100 a month. Mid-20s, 200. So I always kind of have a number in my head of what would be a healthy policy, because here's the reality, guys. You do a 19-year-old at $50 a month in an IUL, and that's garbage. I mean, it really is. You know, it's not going to do just. And so you got to be willing to have those types of conversations with the client. Let's get North American opened up here real quick. App services. Then let me see here. Date of birth, we got 03/22/2001. I'm changing the person's name, so this isn't their actual name. We have a female, okay. North American. Kids IUL. Technology lets me work across all 50 states. I'm in Texas right now. We're doing IULs. Let's see here. Survivor, where is it? And there's Indexed Universal. It's the Builder 3, just so you guys know. It's this one, the Business Plus Builder 3 that you're using. The older one that they used to use was an IUL 2, which is a Business Builder 2. That's no longer there, so as you can see there. So it's the Builder Plus IUL 3. Let's run the quotes. For kid IULs, I like to use either North American, NLG, or Anico. Reason being that all three of them have the guaranteed insurability rider, which is a very strong rider. Allianz does not have a guaranteed insurability rider. That rider lets the child purchase more insurance as an adult without them having to medically qualify 6 completely different times. That becomes very, very attractive. So if their health changes, they can get the policy. They can get these additional policies no matter what. So let's begin here. So this, I got $50 a month to play with. So what I'm going to first do is I got to make sure how much target insurance, how much insurance I need so that the policy doesn't pass over $50. So I'm going to start at 100,000. This is going to increase. Death benefit will increase, and I always do a change death benefit at age 70. I just always do it this way. I always keep this a guided premium test. I don't play around with that. Let's control the monthly amount because the client's paying monthly. Then I'm going to hit calculate here and see what the target is. Value based on initial death benefit entered. Come on now.
That's what I've been getting.
All right. So standard, boom, 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 $100. Let's put 150,000. Premium amount monthly. Let's put $50 in there. See what it does. Pay to age 70. Actually 65. Calculate.
He's gonna have to press sulfur target for this. That's why he's not getting a target.
No, I mean, this is how I typically do it all the time. I think there might be something up with the system. Let me see here. No specific. 150,000. Change death, but no. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Premium must be at least $10, $25, $50 semi-annual. Okay. I got $50 a month paid to age 75. Let's see something. I will tell you, North American has the most cumbersome software. So if you can master that one, all the other ones are super easy. NLG and Allianz are the same system. There you go. What's my target? NLG is the And Allianz are the same system. Anico is a different system, but theirs is pretty easy. Where is my target premium? Let me see if I can find it here real quick. So this is 584 in target premium. And it goes all the way down here. Right there, 584 target premium, 50 bucks a month times 12 is 600. So at 150,000, it kind of does the job. Now here's the catch, though. You need to know this when it comes to kid policies. You have your face value for all the children has to be the same. You can't get 300 for one kid and 200 for another. You can't do it that way. So the first one you want to do is the oldest. This is the one that I did. Why the oldest? Because that's the one where the cost of insurance is the highest. So this child, the cost is the most expensive. So if I do this one first, and I know this one can get 150,000 at 50 bucks a month, and the other two will easily be able to get 150,000 at $2 a month because they're younger. But the rule of thumb is kids all have to have the same exact face value. Insurance companies will not let you do what's called playing favoritism and get more insurance on one kid than another. Most insurance companies want you to want the parents to have the same amount of insurance, if not double. Some companies, every company has their own rules to that. But
that was going to bring me my next question, Tony, real quick. It's Armando. I had a quick question. I know some companies require the parents to have double the insurance, like you were just saying. North American, I think they do require that, right? Where you have to have the parents, like let's say the kid wants to have a 250, the parents have to at least have $500,000. Is that correct or no?
So the rule of thumb, typically from what I've always understood, because again, they all change their rules, is you have to have the same amount of coverage until you get to the 250 mark for the child. Once you get to the 250 mark for the child, then the parent has to have at least double. Right now, again, every insurance company is different. So everybody here is going to have their own, kind of preferences. And when you find that preference, just make sure you reach out and find the underwriting guidelines and see what it is. Okay. I'll tell you what I do. Just a rule of thumb, just to always be safe. I always make sure the client has double. Like some companies say, hey, you only have to have the same amount as a kid. Some companies say you have to have double. So I just always say you have to have double. That's just my natural protocol. So if I'm doing 150,000, I got to make sure mom has 300,000. Simple. Right now, if the client doesn't have insurance and they're like, man, I'm on a tight budget, like what in the world? I need that. What's my solution? You can get them a 10-year annual renewable term with American National for like $10. And as long as it's double the coverage, they'll approve the policy. That makes sense, Armando?
Yes, that does. Yeah, so that was definitely an option that I had done for a client. I just wanted to clarify. Now, do you know if Allianz is the same or no?
Allianz, I don't. I'll be honest, I don't, because I don't like writing kid policies with Allianz, just because they don't have this rider right here. This guaranteed insurability rider is not there. And I'm such a big seller of this particular product. I'm a big believer of it that I've never done kid policies without you on Allianz. All right, so now let me show you what it is that I do with these plans. So I do a thing called laddering. I want to show the client what the potential is of these policies. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go right to the contribution, $50 a month. And I'm going to hit this button right here, change. And so what I'm going to do is every 10 years, I'm going to show the client doubling the amount of money that they're putting in. So if the client's age 10, I'm going to go from 10 to 20 at $50 a month. And from 21 to 30, they're going to go to $100 a month. Then from 31 to 40, they're going to go to 150, right? We're just upping it every time. Then from 41 to 50, they start doubling it by an extra $100 more now. So now it's 250. Then from 51 to 60, we're going to go to 350. Then from 61 to 65, we're going to go to 450. And then from 66 all the way through the end, no more payments. So the client stops making payments. Now you're saying, Tony, do you do this every time? I do this every single stinking time. Every time. Every time when I'm building kid policies, when I'm building 20-year-old IULs, 30-year-old IULs, I think when I don't do it is if I'm playing in the late 40 and the 50 bracket, because At that point in time, I need, most people are typically at their budget, they're kind of already maxing it out. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm also really good when I'm in the 40 bracket, 50 bracket, getting a $750 to $1,000 a month contribution into IULs, because they need to understand they're short on time. But 90% of the times you talk to Howard and Tanisha, who build my illustrations, this is exactly how I do it. I always run the death benefit at increasing, and then I change the increase at 70, I level it off. I always show payments until 65. This is how I do it every single stinking time. I don't change it. Let me run the illustration here. And I'm not going to show you how I present the illustration today because I'm pressed on time. I'm just going to run the illustrations. But Saturday, it looks like everybody's asking for additional training on IULs. I will then do it. I just did a private training with Victoria a couple of days ago on how I present an IUL. I think everybody would benefit from that, and I'll do that this coming Saturday. Let's see what this looks like. All right, so let's see here. We have 150. Let me go right to the illustration. You got 150,000 of coverage, $50 a month. Target is at 602. That's because I added the rider. I don't like that. Let's go back. So let's drop this bad boy to 140. I don't like the monthly payment to be more than the rider, more than the target. It's just my own preference. Yes, you're right. Theoretically, if the client puts more money in every 5-10 years, eventually they'll always put more in, but it's just my own peace of mind of making sure whatever they start with is less than the target. Another rule of thumb you guys want to consider is overfunding. I'm okay running policies at target if I'm dealing with a kid's policy, a 20-year-old, even an early 30-year-old. But once I start getting into the 34 bracket, I like to overfund by 30%. If I get to the 40 bracket, I'm overfunding by 40%. The 50 bracket, overfund by 50%. And if I get to the 60 bracket, chances are I'm not selling. I'm not even touching an IUL. And again, I'll go more in detail. If you have questions, write your questions down, and we'll break it down more on Saturday. So I explain to you the reason, the rhyme, and the why. So 140,000, $50 a month. Target premium is now $563. I'm okay with that. It's under the $600 a month that the client's paying. Now, every 10 years, there's increases in payments. It went from 600 to 1,200 a year. Then it went from 1,200 to 1,800 a year. Then from 1,800 to 3,000 a year. Then 4,200 a year. These are all the increases, and then 5,400, right? Client ends up putting in $135,000 total when you add everything up. And at 65, it's worth $646,000. We may have actually 5x their return. Now, the conversation I have with the client when I show them this is, would you agree that you're probably going to get rid of your most aggressive assets first when you hit retirement because of your risk tolerance? They're going to say yes. So, and I explain to them, you're probably going to get rid of your 401ks, your IRAs, or anything like that first. And then what you're going to leave for last is your highest performing conservative investment, which will more than likely be this. You probably won't tap into this until really your 70s. When you tap into this in your 70s, you now got $864,000 on a $135,000 contribution. Look, you're not making any more payments after 65. You're done. You're in retirement. And even though you're not making any more payments, look at your money, it's still growing. I mean, you went from 695 to 747. That's a $50,000 increase. I mean, you're making $50,000-$60,000 a year just in interest. If you wanted to just live off the interest, you could, and not even tap into the principal. Your insurance started at $140,000, and look where it's at right now. It's at $780,000 when you hit retirement. Why? Because you laddered the product. You challenge yourself, and every 10 years you increase your contribution. Mr. Client, it's hard to go from $50 a month to $500 a month, but if you go from $50 a month to $100 a month to $150 a month to $200 a month, little by little over the years, you'll get your budget will get used to it, and you'll be able to put more dollars in. This is how I present it. So let me save this bad boy here. Sorry. Any questions while I save this? While I'm saving illustrations is always the best time because I have actual opportunities to answer questions. Anybody?
Makisha. So I looked at it right now, but the cash surrender value, I think it was, it had like zeros for like the first few years. You don't worry about that. You're more focused on the end goal, right?
No. Again, I'll give you the actual how I present it to you on Saturday, but I definitely address the beginning part a lot. I address the beginning part more than I address actually the back end part, to be honest with you. And what do you call it? Victoria, if she's on here right now, she could probably attest to that.
Can you show that illustration?
Yeah.
Again, Tony?
Yeah, give me a minute. I'm just saving it right now, but yeah, I'll do
On
that.
your
North American Kids IUL. I'm just saving it right now, guys. Sorry. Illustration. Here we go. Okay. So who asked to see the illustration?
Armando.
Go for it. Right here, buddy. Did you have a question about it you wanted to ask?
Okay, so they're funding what? They're putting annual premium is about $50 a month.
Nope.
Okay. Oh, they're increasing it. Okay.
That's correct.
Gotcha. Okay, because I was seeing that there was a net value in the first couple of years, but you're increasing it as the time goes by, which gives you more leeway to increase it. Okay. Gotcha. Now, through juvenile policies, they do pay a lower target. Is that correct or no? Because I know some companies do that.
I mean, this target is 563.
Okay, because I did have a child. I was working with a different company. I mean, it was a branch of North Americans. It was through Midland, and they were doing about $200 a month. They want to really throw some good money at it from the beginning, but the target was way lower, and that's what they say they do is because I guess
they're overfunding.
I'm not so sure. Dancing Friday by my.
Go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry. Somebody was unmuted. I muted them.
Yeah, they're saying that juvenile policies pay differently. The target was way lower. I mean, it should have been like at a maybe $1,800 to $2,000 target. I think the target ended up being like about $600.
Yeah, that's probably because they were overfunding. I mean, if I deal with someone who's wealthy that says to me, hey, I want to put, $300, $400, $500 a month into my kids' policies, there's going to be a level of overfunding no matter what, because if you try to run $500 a month on a kid's IUL, it'll end up being like $4 million in insurance if you try to do it all in Target. And there's not an insurance company under the sun that'll give a $4 million policy to a kid unless the parents can show they're making like 10 million a year. Like they've got to be like ultra wealthy to get that kind of coverage. And so they probably were overfunding because they had no choice. Like I try not to let the face value of the kids' policies go over like $250,000, because then you start getting a lot of questions from the underwriters, like, why are we putting so much insurance on this kid? Like, why so much? And the only way sometimes that I can keep that death benefit, that face value less than 250, if they want to put like $200 a month, is by overfunding. And remember, we don't get paid on the overfunding, we get paid on the target.
Exactly. Yeah. The policy was like a $200,000 policy, or maybe even less than that. And the target was way lower. And I even called them. They're like, yeah, that's just how they pay. The target is way lower, even though the numbers didn't even add up. But I don't know. Maybe that's something I could relook at.
Yeah, honestly, I'd have to see it. I mean, I'm just kind of giving you a blind guess, but I'd have to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I talked to Kayla about. It's like, yeah, just because the target's different on juvenile policy, it's totally different than for older people. But I don't know if that's 1,000% the case or what it was.
Honestly, I've never seen it that way. Only, like I said, the only thing that would cause that, and from my experience, has been if it's overfunded, which you could do overfunding with a kids policy as well. So let me run the other ones. This is what I typically do now. Now that I ran the first one, I ran the first one and I want it to be, this is an entire family. So I want all the policies to look very, very similar. So all I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna change the age of the kid's information. The next child. This is a male. Date of birth. Date of birth is 9/28/2016. 5 years old, good. Remember the face value, because it's one family, has to stay the same. So everything pretty much stays the same other than the kid's age. That's what changed. Look, that immediately changed from year 5 to year 15. I mean, all the contributions are the same. It just, all I did was adjust the age, the child. The riders are all automatically there, so I can hit next. What you're gonna notice in this is that this policy is gonna be overfunded, so the target's gonna be a lot lower than the monthly payment. That's why I always start with the oldest kid, because the cost of insurance is the highest for a child, but it's always gonna be the highest for the oldest child. So let's see here real quick. So look, same 140,000, the same $50 a month, same increase. Look at the target. Target's 511. So it's a lower target because you got a younger child. And again, you have to do it that way because you will not be able to get a higher face value on one child and not on the other. And I already know what their budget is. I got to stay within $50 a month per kid. That's a must no matter what. Does that make sense? Ask questions while I save this illustration, please. If you have questions.
I do. I'm still trying to run this illustration and mine's not coming out. It doesn't look like yours, even though their budget is a lot lower.
Okay. I'll tell you
Can
what.
I give you the numbers?
Yeah, let me finish one more illustration with this exact family, and then we'll do that one together.
Okay, perfect.
And it's IUL illustration. There we go. Let me save it. Saves. Good. All right, so that one is saved. Let me run the other child. Go back to the case. Yeah. Date of birth. This is a much younger child. So you'll see in this one, the target's going to be much lower too. This is a female as well. Hey, what happened? Oh, my bad. I did it in case information. I didn't need to do it in case information. Here, Johnson, 2 years of age, female, good. Everything stays the same. See, 140,000, increasing, everything stays the same, $50 a month. Every 5 years or every 10 years, contributions go up. Good. Calculate. For the view illustration, see what's up. We have, all right, here we go. Okay, we got a 2-year-old, $50 a month, 140,000. So all the kids have the exact same policy. But because this child is so much younger, the target is even lower. Look, the target's 389 here. So out of 600, only 389 is target. Right? This one will even be, this is probably gonna be the most beneficial one because this person has more time, cost of insurance is less. 137 is what's put in, 724 is what they get out when they hit 60. 60. Oh, look at this one. Actually, this one actually only paid until 60 years of age on the illustration. She's so much younger. So let me change that piece here. Let's do from 55 to 60, and then from 61 to 65. She could put even more money in. She could put 550 a month in. And then from 66 to 119 years of age, no money. Let's see if I can hit that. Calculate thing. Let's see UVI, what it looks like. Come on now, wake up. So we got 140,000, 50 bucks a month, 2 years of age, increasing in contribution, which is good. Now we should have payments all the way to 65. There it is. Look at this, 170,000 contributed, close to 1.1 million out. That's a phenomenal 5x return on kids IUL tax-free. And this isn't even exercising the guaranteed insurability rider, the ability to purchase more insurance on the side. This is just keeping that one policy intact and increasing contributions over the years. As I save this, does anybody have any questions?
Nope, and I got mine to do right, so I understand it now.
You figured it out?
Yes.
Okay. Good news and bad news, guys. North American is, like I said, the most cumbersome system for illustration design. But if you can master that one, all the rest of them are so stinking easy. I wish they were all as easy as Allianz and even NLG. Kids IUL, illustration. All right. So I got those and I got those done. Let's see what else I got to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's go to American National for a little while here. So we can break away. So you don't, Victoria, you don't need me to do yours. You were able to figure it out?
I was able to figure it out. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Let's go to American National here for a little bit, change it up a little bit. Because I've got some policies to do with this carrier. And I'll tell you why I'm choosing this carrier for the client over North American is because this client wants cash accumulation, but living benefits is also very important. And although North American has living benefits, American National has better living benefits. So you just got to learn, right? Which company is better at what? NLG has the best living benefits out of all the companies out in the market space. Allianz has the best cash accumulation out of all in the market space. Second in cash accumulation would be North American, in my opinion. And third in cash accumulation would be American National. But American National is probably second best in living benefits. American National and NLG are pretty close in that world. So I'm choosing to use American National. I use American National when someone says to me, hey, I really want, I want good living benefits and I want good cash accumulation. So at that point in time, I'm going 100% towards American National. But if someone says to me, I want living benefits, but I want amazing cash accumulation, North American all the way. So let's do a couple of IULs on that and a couple of term policies. This client wants to look at a couple different options. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. I got an adult here. 3, 14, 1976. 35 years of age, female. Going back to Texas. New illustration. Let's do her term insurance first. Term life. Anico signature term is the product. Switch this to a 30-year term. I typically always sell 30-year terms. This client wants a quote for 100,000. Now, American National, when you go under 250,000, the best you can offer the client is standard. So I'm gonna actually run her 2 quotes. I'll do 250,000 at preferred. Client's making monthly payments. Do a quick calc on that. Preferred, client is paying 49 bucks a month, 49.03. If I said, okay, let's now do 100,000. Now I got to change her rating to standard, non-tobacco. Quick calc. Client is paying $40. Which one do you think the client would take? Right? Just gotta make sense, right? It's like I might as well, if I can get her preferred rated. Let's go with the 250,000. She's healthy. $49. So for 10 bucks more, she pretty much goes from 100,000 to 250,000. So I'm going to show her that. I'll show her both, to be honest with you, but this is more than likely what she's going to take. If I know the client correctly. Anybody have any questions about that?
Hey, Tony, it's Armando. Quick question. So for American National to use their software and run illustrations, I do have to be appointed, correct?
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't use iPipeline in their system. They use a thing called Express Apps. So you need to be contracted to be able to do the illustrations yourself.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, good thing I haven't been contracted one before, so that should be pretty good.
Yeah, I write a decent amount, just so you know, Armando. I write a decent amount of American National. I have American National myself, to be fully transparent as well.
I honestly never even knew they did IULs. I thought they were just final expense.
No, they do. They're probably the replica of North American. They have a 30-year term.
Wow.
They have a GUL with return of premium, just like North American, and an IUL, the guarantee insurability rider. They'll approve up to, I believe, 1 million preferred non-medical. Yeah.
Wow.
They tend to be more competitive in pricing. I will say that. For example, I just did a quote yesterday on a 47-year-old. It was a GUL 250 a month with North American. He was able to get 290,000, but with American National, I got him 365,000 for the same amount of money. Literally same product.
Gotcha.
But
That's
I will
awesome.
say this: American National dominates in the living benefit when it compares to North American. So
Now, when you say living benefits, are you saying just the percentages that pay out, or like the distribution?
Yeah, the percentages. So for example, critical illness for the North American was like 20 grand on that GUL. Critical illness for that same product with American National on the quote I did yesterday was like 160 to 220 grand. So I mean, it was a big difference.
That's pretty cool. That's really good. Now, does it have the
Recording in progress.
Give me a second. I'm switching over to my other.
Yeah.
Can you hear me better? Okay, good.
Yeah. I hear you.
I was saying that who was it with? I did see that well, some people at your previous company, they actually write a lot of foresters, and they have a page which shows the amount of money they're actually going to be getting if it pays out. And they kind of show that to the client, like, hey, if you God forbid something were to happen, you can access this amount, and here the distribution you get on a monthly basis on something chronic. Is that something that Anico has as well?
Yeah, bro. Look, I'll show it to you right now.
Nice.
Look, it's an A-rated company, been around since 1905, over 22 billion in assets, right? So you got a very strong company. It has all the riders, terminal, critical, chronic. And here's the cool thing about their critical. You know how NLG has 4 sections, right? It has critical illness, critical injury.
Yeah.
Right? even though Anico doesn't show a critical injury section, it's already included inside critical illness. Because what exactly is critical injury? Critical injury is, where is it? Like burns, where is it? Major ALS, like major burns.
Yeah.
Critical illness, loss of limbs, right? So it's really good, right? It gives you the list of all the things that counts in their critical illness. And then look how it breaks down the cash for living benefits.
Oh, nice.
So if you have a chronic or critical, you get $0 if it's a mild impairment. But if it's a moderate or severe, right, based on what the doctor's reports say, based on your age, you can get anywhere from 99,000 to 152,000 to 196, right? It's all there. And then the terminal. Terminal goes back 24 months, if I'm not mistaken, with American National instead of 12 months. So it shows it all there.
That's huge stuff. That is huge stuff.
Yeah, I wrote a lot of this at Practice Company. This was my main carrier. I wrote more of this than I did NLG.
Wow, that's huge right there.
Yeah.
So I'm right here with my agent right here at the office. We're actually gonna be putting down some illustrations together. We don't have access obviously to the software yet, and I want to see what kind of this looks like.
Oh, if you need it, I'll send you my stuff. I'll send you my logins for American National.
Oh,
So-
perfect. Yeah, that'd be great. Just to print out the I guess the illustrations and stuff like that, present them, and then I guess either paper app them or whatever I got to do just to get everything going at that point.
Well, if you know you're gonna write it, I'll push your contracts right now if you need. If you know for sure you're
Let's do
gonna.
it.
How fast could that be? Because like F&G, like
Yeah.
3 days is what American National takes. 3 days, you have a writing
Okay.
number, and then you wait 24 hours, you can log in.
And then that's when, and then it's I mean, when we submit business with it, will they push it through? That's with everything. Do they have a paper app? I don't mind doing a paper app. if
They
we
do.
have
No,
it.
they have a paper app. So you can either turn in paper app and we begin contracting at the same time, or you wait till you get your writing number, you can log in and do it electronic. What I'm just simply
Yeah.
saying is, they don't take long to give you a writing number. It takes like 3 days to get a writing number, and then on the fourth day, you can log in and run illustrations and
Perfect.
apps and everything.
Okay, sounds good.
Hang on. Babe, can you start Anico contracting for Caleb and Armando? Don't put them in JIT, like actually push contracting. They need writing numbers right away. And they're both direct to carrier. 100K term illustration. They're pretty quick.
And then my agent as well, because we're gonna be doing that business. Will he get it as well, or should I add him to
Oh
it?
yeah, it's a split business. It's a split business with him.
Yeah,
What's his name?
it's for Jared Silvera. He's the one that's on the chat.
Gotcha. So Jared is well, babe. Jared is under Armando's. Jared, Armando, you have Sandra's cell phone number, right?
Correct, yes.
Text her Jared's full name. And yeah, if you can begin Anico as well for him. He's LOA under Armando's organization. So Armando's gonna need, no, I'm sorry. He's LOA, period, he's LOA. So we comp him. Boom, 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 boom. Caleb, however, is gonna need writing numbers before Armando because of the upline, downline direct relationship. All right, cool. Let me get to the next one. So that's that one. Now I got to do an IUL for this client as well too, right? So here's what, crap, did I really? Let her in. We forgot about that. Hey, Patty. Patty, can you hear me? Possibly.
Oh, now I can unmute.
Patty, can you hear me?
Yes.
Patty, and I apologize. This is my fault. I forgot to call you. Can you give me like 20 minutes and I'll give you a buzz? Or actually in 20 minutes, can you get back on the Zoom? I'm still finishing up on a meeting here.
Okay, no problem.
Okay,
Call me
thanks, Patty.
call me back. All right.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text for like 20 minutes. We get back on.
All right, no problem.
Thanks. Armando, do me a favor, make sure that Jared's began his contracting because we don't seem to find it on our end.
Your contract yet or no? Okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll do that right now.
All right,
Okay, got it. Thank you.
cool. New illustration. So here's what's cool. Here's what I do like about American National software. You can do, once I got the client's info in, right? I got the client's info in, I can then do this. I can do a new illustration. It'll take the client's information and it'll push out basically another file. So if I wanted to do an IUL here, right? It's the signature performance, where's the signature performance IUL? Create. Oh, wake up, little system there. Happened. There we go. So this one is the term to the left. This one is the IUL to the right, and it's got all the same client information. So let's see what it would look like for her on an IUL. We're dealing with a 46-year-old. My rule of thumb for a 46-year-old is to overfund by 40%. So she's only looking for a small amount, 100,000. Standard non-tobacco. Death benefit is going to go from increasing all the way to age 70. And then option A is level. That's how it always is with every company pretty much. Option A is level, option B is increasing. I'll explain what that is in detail more on Saturday. I got to first find out what the target is before I tell the system what the premium is going to be. Do a quick calc here. Target of this product is 1539. So if I'm overfunding by 40%, that means that the 1539 is going to be the 60%, right? Because 40 plus 60 is the 100% contribution. So divide by 6 multiplied by 10, that means that the total payment into this needs to be 2565. Even though the target's 1539, I'm going to overfund and put in 2565 instead. That's 213. $200 a month just to make it simple. The client's going to pay $200 monthly. Let's have her pay from 46 until 56, 10 years of that payment. Then we can increase contributions to 350. I'll go up by $150. We'll do that as well for 10 years. Then she's now 66. So I'll have her doing 450 until she hits 70 years of age. I don't mind showing someone making payments until 70 instead of 65. If they're starting late in the game, she's in her 40s. So she's starting late in the game, I'm gonna have her pay into it until she's 70. And then after that, no more payments. It's going into the S&P point-to-point cap. It's got I believe this one has a 9.5% cap. I'll put 100% of the dollars in there. Preview. Illustrates real nice the way it shows on the illustration itself. Right, it talks about living benefit, cash value, income. Again, A-rated company. Created in 1905, it's been around for a while, 22 billion in assets. Has all the benefits. Let's look at the illustration. That's the sexy part. Here we go. So client puts $200 a month for 10 years. Then ups it to $350 a month for 10 years. Then ups to $450 a month until they hit age 70. And then after that, no more payments. Look, zero payments. Total contributions, 87,600. Cash accumulation, 129,000. The only way you're gonna get this type of, 1.5 time return almost for a 40-year-old is you gotta overfund and you gotta show the client putting more money in. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense to get them into an IUL. It just doesn't. Like, look, yesterday's conversation I had with a 40-year-old, the gentleman was mid-40s. He says to me, we're running different IUL numbers for him and everything. And I go, well, let me ask you a question. I said, what's your biggest objective in this? Is it cash accumulation? Is it benefit? Is it living benefits, death benefit? Like, why are you getting this? He says to me, look, honestly, I could care less about the cash accumulation. This is something I just want to make sure I leave behind for my family and I can't outlive it. I said, you know what I would do? I would look into a GUL instead of an IUL, right? And he agreed. And what's crazy is if I focus on the GUL and not the IUL, you'll have more death benefit protection because there's nothing focused in the cash accumulation. So this is what I'm gonna show her in this product. Hang tight, let me save it. Any questions as I save this and have the time to chat and respond to questions?
Yeah, this is Maria, Tony.
Yes, ma'am.
For someone, let's say this person, for example, for someone of this age, that they're looking more for cash value and not necessarily the death benefit, would you consider pivoting to a flexible annuity?
Possibly, but you know, I've learned in the years that there's also economical and cultural things that I have to take into consideration with the client. And bear with me as I explain this to you. If the client is your typical middle American client in their mid 40s, right? They make 75, 100,000 a year. And you see that they've never really saved money. They've never been really good savers. I don't want to put them into a flexible annuity, because with a flexible annuity, they can stop their payments. And more than likely that person will. But if I put them into an IUL, number one, in your scenario, I would probably put them into Allianz. And the conversation I would have with the client is, based on their age, they need to be putting in at least $500 a month if they want this to even be of value to them. This is not 100, 150 bucks a month. If you want to do that, I'm not your guy. And I have no problem saying it to them just like that. But if I can get them to commit to that $500 a month, and I can do a budget and I can see that they have the money, I know that there's a higher likelihood that they're going to save if it's in a forced saved product, like an IUL that drafts automatic every month, versus a flexible annuity where the client can easily call and stop making payments. And there's no penalty for stopping the payments. The IUL forces them to save. The IUL, they understand that there's a penalty if they stop. And unfortunately, not everybody's responsible enough to have good savings patterns. So when you come across somebody in their mid 40s and you do a full analysis and you're like, bro, you got $2,000 in savings, you got nothing else put away, you know that person doesn't have good savings habits and probably has bad spending habits. And so the IUL forces them to save. And as long as their budget can validate that they can afford it, that's what I would recommend. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
So that's just my piece. All right, so this client, I just did that, right? $200 a month, it's a $100,000 IUL, right? I'm gonna run, just for S and giggles, right? I'm gonna do a GUL at $200 a month. Because I still need to have a conversation with her and find out what's her priority of this. Is it cash accumulation? Is it death benefit? Like, what is it that's important to you? So we'll do guaranteed death benefit to age 100. We'll do monthly payments. We are going to solve for face amount. And we're gonna do $200 a month. So I'm showing her, here's what happens with $200 a month in an IUL. Here's what happens with $200 a month in a GUL. And the good thing about a GUL is you don't have to increase your payments. So if her objective is living benefits, death benefit protection, a GUL is probably going to be the answer. Let me see, solve for face amount, $200 a month, monthly payments. Wait, paid it. Wait, what is this? Solve for face amount. Okay. Quick cap. Let's see. So look at this. She can get guaranteed death benefit, cumulative premium. Let me show it to you in a bigger illustration. Look at the face value. $258,000 instead of $100,000. Right? With a return of premium guarantee on year 20. She's put in 48,000. She can get 48,000 back if she wants. On year 25, she's put in 60,000. She can get 60,000 back. So there's a return of premium guarantee. $258,000 of coverage, $200 a month. So now I got to talk to the client. What's more important to you? Is it cash accumulation? Is it death benefit or living benefit? Is it both? Right? And just be very direct. This, you know, if you're talking, if you want benefit, GUL all the way. GUL all the way. Look, 258,000 versus 100,000 with death benefit and living benefit. This just makes absolute sense. And Armando if you're on there, yeah, you are. I see you are. This is the same kind of GUL structure as North American, except American National offers it. And I guarantee you, if I ran a North American GUL on this client for the same dollar amount, I mean, literally recreated the same thing, North American would give her 175 of coverage instead of 258. Make sense?
Good stuff. Yeah.
So let me save that one. Any questions? Go. No questions? All right. All right, all right. All right, guys. I wasn't able to finish all my illustrations, but we were able to do a couple of them. I mean, we did some kid IULs there. We did some Forrester's term. We did some Anico term, Anico GUL, Anico IUL. I got to hop onto another meeting, and it's actually in this Zoom ID. So I'm going to actually have Patty come back on. But I appreciate you guys. Hopefully this was beneficial. I'm going to save this recording and upload it to the channel so you guys can leverage it. Like I said, this Saturday, I'll be going much more in detail of how to properly structure an IUL, why I increase the benefit, what is the difference between increasing the death benefit versus keeping it level, why I ladder my contributions, you know, how I design these plans to give you better understandings. And I'm a visual guy, so I'll show you visuals that'll help understand, you know, how these things work, because here's the reality. These are phenomenal products when created and structured the right way and when the objective is in alignment. It's not the answer for everybody. It is the answer for a good amount of people, as long as they're putting in the products the right dollar amounts. And that's actually important. How much they put in and their age really determines whether or not it's going to be a healthy plan for them that'll do good for them instead of bad. But I'll let you guys with that. Have a good one. Be blessed.